What's going on, guys? Bengal again here, coming back at you with another video, another mock draft. We do these pretty frequently on the channel, so if you like mock drafts, if you like college football and pro football in the offseason and the draft, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on these videos in the future. I do post them pretty often, but I haven't in a little bit, and I feel like this is a very, very much needed update. Now, the Draft Network hasn't changed their predictive board, but there are a number of mental changes I've made based on guys that I respect and tape that I've watched so far. So players have moved up and down the board, and you're going to see, that reflected in this particular midseason mock draft. We have a better idea of what the draft order could end up being, as we are now officially into the second half of the NFL year, as Sunday Night Football just ended, and every pick is based on the current NFL record of those teams, or the team, of course, the team in which owns the pick of whatever team it happens to be. I know that it's not phrased well at all, but you're gonna have to bear with me on that. And I hate to do this at the start of every 2022 NFL mock draft, but Kayvon Thibodeau just seems like the clear-cut number one right now. I'm not sure that there's an incredibly massive gap between him and Edge 2, which I think is Aiden Hutchinson right now. But I think overall, based on athletic traits and, performance on field, Kayvon Thibodeau is the best player in the class. Don't think the Lions would be hard-pressed to take a quarterback here. It's not exactly the most highly regarded quarterback class. And yeah, Jared Goff is not it. I think that's pretty obvious. But the Lions are in a long-term rebuild, and I don't think they need to feel forced into taking a QB at number one. Now, that's the spot to do it. I think it would be a really good move for them to trade down. But Thibodeau is a really, really good potential franchise player. So you can't get any complaint there at number one. The Texans at 2 is where things get interesting, because I think this could be a quarterback. QBs go early. It's what they do. Every year, quarterbacks go early. There's no waiting for a quarterback. That just isn't a thing that exists. But in a world where there are no trades, like this mock draft, I don't really think the Texans stay at number 2, or I don't think they should. I think they should move down. I don't really feel like they should take a QB this year, but it could very well happen just because they do have that high pick. And if you could get your pick of any of these quarterbacks, whether it's Matt Corral, who seems to be consensus QB1, or Kenny Pickett, who's played amazingly in 2021, getting a ton of money. Like he's fought his way into the first round, probably, right? Or at the very latest second round. He's just very solid. Doesn't have the world's strongest arm, isn't the most athletic, but he's just a very solid player overall. The Texans are in a really interesting position here at 2. And I don't know. It's do we want to go quarterback and go that route? Because that could happen. Or do we want to go like Aiden Hutchinson at number 2, who has played so incredibly well? Another guy who came back and earned himself a lot of money. I don't know. I think in the last mock draft, I didn't go quarterback. So let's mix it up. Let's go QB at 2. It could certainly happen. We're going to go Matt Corral. I like Corral as a prospect. I don't love him, but there are a lot of traits that you do love. You love the quick release. You love his ability to go, opposite hash throws with your velocity, on time, on the money, great deep ball at times. He just needs to become more of a field general type quarterback where he's reading the field, diagnosing coverages post snap, and not pre-lock onto one receiver. I can take a lot of tips from me right now when I play Madden. It's easier said than done, right? But Corral, I think post-snap processing is a concern. Same thing with Malik Willis, really, too. And Sam Howell in a heavily based RPO offense at UNC. It's tough to know how he would react in a different offensive scheme. I think Philadelphia would be a good fit for him schematically, but we're not to Philly yet. But I am going to go quarterback direction with the Texans at 2 and Corral. Jets at 3. They have 2 first-round picks. One is from Seattle in the Jamal Adams trade. And here at 3, you're not going to be pressed to take a quarterback here. Clearly, you did so at number 2 last year. So the entire board is open to you, right? And it's what do you want? Well, there are a number of things that we would need to talk about. One, in what is a very strong tackle class, which includes Evan Neal, Charles Cross, Trevor Penning, and Ikem Akwanu, despite being listed at guard here in 18. Those are tackles that could definitely go top 10 and probably in some cases even higher than that. It's just you have a left tackle with the Jets and Mekhi Becton despite injury. Mekhi Becton did play some right tackle at Louisville, but he's a left tackle, and you're not going to move him to right tackle after what he's done so far in the league when healthy. So you're playing a dangerous game of, can some of these other tackles, or even guys with guard experience like Akwanu last year, can these guys move over and play right tackle now? It's kind of an interesting question. And if you're the Jets, I think you probably roll the dice on a player like Evan Neal, that I think in some other classes could be in the conversation to go at number 1 overall. But I think he probably still would be if the Lions didn't have tackle kind of squared away already. He's crazy athletic. I think he would be able to move sides of the line just because of that athleticism, but it is kind of a roll of the dice. It isn't as easy as just saying, oh, you play right tackle now. Everything's mirrored. It's hard because your push off leg, like your drive leg, changes on kick sets and things like that. So if you have a guy who's explosive out of his stance and in pass pro, he could maybe not be so good on the other side of the line. So it is a bit of a dangerous game. And all the top tackle prospects are left tackles. Charles Cross, left tackle. Nicholas Petit-Frere has experience playing right tackle, but is a left tackle. Trevor Penning, left tackle. Sean Ryan's a guard. Thayer Munford, played left tackle last year at Ohio State, but is a guard and plays guard now at Ohio State. Jackson Kirkland has lost a lot of steam, a lot of buzz. And then Daniel Faalele is kind of a weird tackle prospect, but is a right tackle. So that's kind of like the first true right tackle on the board, at least in my mind. So again, you're playing a bit of a dangerous game there. But the Jags at 4. This is kind of like best player available. It's weird. I kind of want to go edge because of positional value. And I think Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of Josh Allen would be huge. And he's a really, really good player. And you really haven't gotten that type of production out of Kayvon Chason. So I could see them going Aiden Hutchinson. And I think he's someone that could play in a 3-4, although I probably like him a bit more in a 4-3 defense. I think he has 3-4 capabilities. He's a good athlete. So I don't really think it would be much of a problem, especially if he's, rushing the passer 80-90% of the time. I don't know. I think if Evan Neal's on the board, you go Evan Neal. I took him at 3. So we're going to go with Aiden Hutchinson. I think I talked myself into it. I think corner's in play. I think it's in play. I don't think it would absolutely happen, though. With CJ Henderson being traded midseason, that kind of adds a wrinkle into things. Eagles at 5, first pick. As much as I don't really believe in Jalen Hurts as a top-level quarterback, Jalen Hurts, I think, is fine. I think he's fine for right now. So with your picks, what could happen is you could see the Eagles trading down quite a lot, or trading those picks for an established quarterback. There's a Russell Wilson rumor that's kind of floating around. But they could also just take those players and really rebuild the team. So we might just go best player available. And for me, I think that's going to be Derek Stingley Jr. His stock kind of dropped a bit. Not amazing play and then injury, but he has 2 full years of being dominant at LSU. So I don't really think it's a problem. I still think should be consensus CB1. I think he's a really good player. And just BPA for the Eagles here as we get to the Giants at 6. Kind of weird. I think for the same reason that we talked about with Jalen Hurts, I think kind of applies to Daniel Jones. I also don't really believe in Daniel Jones as a top-end quarterback. Giants fan, I've watched every game he's ever played, and some of them are real bad. Other times, he looks okay, and he really hasn't gotten a ton of help. So I think we can try and get him some help. And with Aiden Hutchinson off the board, with Kayvon Thibodeau obviously not there, Evan Neal not there, I don't really think you force an edge rusher here. Like George Karlaftis is good. You do have back-to-back picks as it stands, of course, from Chicago, and then your own pick. I'm going to go Ikem Akwanu. I think he's a potential top 10 player in the entire class. He's listed at guard here. You just got to ignore the Draft Network rankings. They're going to get, preconceived notions of what a player is or could be in your head just because of the number associated with them. Ikem Akwanu is probably a top 10 player in the class. He's been amazing this year at NC State, and this is one of those situations where I would totally be fine with the Giants double dipping on the offensive line. And I know it's boring or whatever. I don't know what my infatuation is with offensive linemen of late. I've been really getting into that position and learning technique over the past 2 years. And I love offensive line play, and I could get excited about an offensive lineman now. And I know that seems kind of crazy, but I love it, dude. And Ikem Akwanu is a fun offensive lineman to watch. He is a mauler, played left guard last year at NC State, moved over to left tackle, and has proven that he can play that at a very, very high level. He's crazy athletic and can pass protect at a pretty high level too. But run to blocking is his huge thing. But I like Ikem Akwanu. I think he could go high. Giants back-to-back picks. I really wouldn't mind another offensive lineman. I really wouldn't. And I know it's not exciting. There are some edge players that I think are in the conversation here. David Ojabo is finally getting some hype. I put him in the first round a few weeks ago, and people called me crazy, and now he's starting to get that hype. It's just, you don't get a height, weight, speed freak athlete like David Ojabo, who's also producing, and they don't get hype. That just doesn't exist. So he's going to go first round. He'll probably end up going pretty high in the first round too, I would guess. I think he goes top 20. That's my guess right now. Things could change. I'm not gonna take edge though. I think it's in play. I'm just not gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna go Kenyon Green. I've done that a lot, but I think he's a really good player. He's moved all around for Texas A&M this year. He's played left tackle, he's played left guard, he's played right guard, he's played right tackle. He's played every position with the exception of center on the offensive line. But based off of what he did last year as a left guard, and even this year at left guard, he is a left guard, and he is a really, really good one. And the Giants have had a weird situation at left guard recently with, is it Will Hernandez the guy? No, it doesn't look like it. Is Shane Lemieux the guy? I don't know who would think that. But no, they traded for Billy Price at center. I think if you can just instantly upgrade O-line, Ikem Akwanu probably plays right tackle, or Andrew Thomas moves over. I don't think he's established enough at left tackle where you're afraid to do that. But maybe he stays at left tackle. So Ikem Akwanu, right tackle. I think he's better than Matt Pert, or obviously Nate Solder. And then Kenyon Green, left guard, maybe even right guard, right? Just build up the O-line. I know back-to-back offensive linemen. I don't consider Akwanu an interior guy. I think he can play tackle. Washington football team at 8. I'm going Kyle Hamilton. I think probably some Giants fans would have want me to take him at 6 or 7. He's a really great player. You just got to realize not only positional value, right, but you got to realize the current state of the team. And you got Xavier McKinney, you got Jabril Peppers, you have Logan Ryan. I don't really feel like you need to take a safety. He's a great player. Man, is he a great player. And man, would he be a huge upgrade for Washington football team at free safety. Cameron Curl could be your strong safety. You got a beautiful safety duo, and their back end has been super disappointing. Kyle Hamilton is a really great player, and getting defenders that can cover in the back end, especially the way Kyle Hamilton can, that's going to make the pass rush look so much better, and it's already good. They've been disappointing. A player like Kyle Hamilton that can play free safety, that can play over the top center field, would make everyone look a whole lot better as we get to the Jets at 9. I think you probably would have wanted to take a tackle here, but you got Evan Neal at 3. I think you're real happy about that. I think you're real happy. So now we look to the other side of the ball. Their corners have played surprisingly well. Bryce Hall has played well, and Michael Carter II has played really well this year. I don't know that you have to take a cornerback in the first round. You could and be happy with that. You could, but you could also go and take an edge rusher. You're going to get Carl Lawson back next year. I know they re-signed John Franklin Myers, who I like quite a lot. You could still take edge anyway. Maybe we get a good third corner in there. And then you could play, I think Michael Carter II could really excel in the slot. Let's go Andrew Booth Jr. I'm a big Andrew Booth guy. He has like little to no ball production this year, like no pass deflections even. I think he's got like a couple, like 1 or 2, legitimately a very small amount. No interceptions, has missed a lot of tackles, but he can cover. He can really cover. And if you have a corner that guys just won't throw at, I'm not going to say Revis Island here, comparing him to, a Jets Hall of Famer, right? But he can cover. So if you're not going to have someone throw his way, there's still a huge value to that. And hopefully he's not D. Milner. Hopefully you just didn't get flashbacks from hearing that name. Dolphins at 10. I know it feels too early for a center. I know it does. I don't care. I don't care. Tyler Linderbaum, to me, is one of the better centers we've seen in the draft in quite some time. Just think he's a really, really good player. And if you can get, just your second quarterback in there, that's what the center is, right? They're a signal caller for the offensive line, and they make the offense run a lot. And especially with a good athlete like Linderbaum that really excels at getting out there to the next level and blocking ahead. For a team that loves to run a lot of short passes and screens, it's hard to picture a better fit than Tyler Linderbaum for me. And they need center so badly. He's good in pass pro as well. So protect Tua, give him more time to develop and throw. I think this is just a great pick. I don't care that it's a 10. I know it feels real early for a center. I think he's worth it. I think he's worth it. Eagles at 11. Went Derek Stingley at 5. The Eagles are, again, a tricky team to mock for. Because they could do a lot here. They could do a lot. No Kyle Hamilton. I think, man, I like their offensive line. Jordan Mailata's good. You have injury concerns with the guards, for sure. Brandon Brooks is on IR right now. And, like Landon Dickerson, I think could eventually start at either center or left guard. But then you look to be replacing Jason Kelsey. So you could look to take a guard with this pick. And Kennard is viewed as a guard, even though he plays right tackle at Kentucky. I don't really think you need to take tackle with Mailata and Lane Johnson. I don't think you need to do that. So maybe we're looking at edge. And George Karlaftis is there at 11. That feels like a good fit. Feels like a good fit overall. Let's do that. Let's go George Karlaftis at 11. Can never have too many edge rushers, and with the aging ones and non-producing ones that the Eagles have at times, Karlaftis is a good fit. I still love Brandon Graham. That guy is ageless basically, but he's not going to play forever. Atlanta at 12. I always want to go Jordan Davis here. Just feels right. It really, really does. However, I'm going to give them another Georgia player. It's going to be Trayvon Walker. He's going to get a lot more hype. He's playing really, really well for Georgia. He can do a number of different things for you. Georgia fans, Falcons fans, probably Georgia fans, will know this. Assuming you like both teams. It's a great fit. It's a really good fit because he's a versatile player. Can play outside linebacker if you need him to. He's drop back in coverage as crazy as it feels. If you know Trayvon Walker, he's like 6'5", 275. He's huge, but has athletic ability to drop back into coverage, but you want him rushing the passer. Sets a really good edge, good run defender, just a do-it-all edge player. And he's just a really solid player. I think that he's going to get a lot more hype. I know he's listed at like 45 or whatever on this predictive board. I think he's going to go higher than that. 12 might feel like a little early, but it just feels like a perfect fit for this team. And I really don't think it's that early for him. I know guys like Dane Brugler have him, I think, at top 10 on their big board right now. He's a very, very valued, trusted source. So I don't really feel like there's a problem there at all. Minnesota at 13. I think this has to be a cornerback, given the board. Only 2 cornerbacks have gone. Roger McCreary has played so well this year. He's played his way into a first-round pick, I think, for sure. Ahmad Gardner's still good. Sauce Gardner. Kyer Elam's been injured, but no one throws at him. He's so good. And we're going to go Kyer Elam here for Minnesota. Again, he's been injured this year in real life and hasn't really been thrown at, but he's just a really good corner. And with the Florida defense, you're taking your chances at other areas of the field. And, before Todd Grantham got fired, and even after, like, there are exploitable areas. And it wasn't Kyer Elam before. It was everywhere else. He's just still a really good player. If you've watched Florida play, don't let their play in the second half of this first half indicate how good he is as a player. Because their defense is terrible, but he's great. And they do have some good players. Just Grantham needed to be fired, and he was. The Broncos at 14 is also a tough spot because you want to go quarterback here. You want to, because you watch Teddy Bridgewater and you go, oh, that's bad. Sorry, Teddy. He's just not the guy. Teddy Bridgewater is he's a really solid backup to have. Everyone would love Teddy on their team. You just don't really want him starting games for you. And I like Malik Willis' potential. I think at 14, you're getting pretty good value for the player that you can potentially develop. He's got a great arm. He's crazy athletic. His post-snap processing is not great, and that's diagnosing coverages. That's reading defenses, as we can put that in the same family. He's got to work on that a lot. Level of competition's not great, but the traits are there, and I think a team is going to like the opportunity to, tap into that potential. As we get to the Eagles at 15, I want to give him Sam Howell, kind of, but I don't think I'm going to give him a quarterback in this mock. I don't. We're just going to experiment going a different direction. And I think Nakobe Dean would be a really great fit. Who's their Mike, though? Devin Lloyd might be better. Might be better for this team. I think Nakobe Dean is a will. That's what I think. I think he's a really good player. I think he could play Mike on some teams. Because you probably wouldn't have thought that Roquan Smith would be a Mike linebacker at Georgia. It's just because he's a little bit undersized, but the ability was there. So he can do it. And not to say that he's Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith is a great player. Can play Mike linebacker. Nakobe Dean probably could too. Nakobe Dean still probably LB1 for me over Devin Lloyd. Brandon Smith is probably going to be a first rounder too if I had to bet. Let's go Nakobe Dean. People always think that I hate on the Eagles, and I hate them as a team. You're right. But when I'm doing a mock draft, I wouldn't, have them miss out on good players in a season that doesn't exist, right? It's not like I'm going to draft badly for the Eagles because I don't like them as a team in real life. I think that's such a misconception. I don't know how some fans think that. I really don't. I just go off of how I feel. I don't hate on Jalen Hurts because he's on the Eagles. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. Dak Prescott, who plays in the Cowboys, who I also do not like, is a great quarterback. He really is awesome. I am as unbiased as anyone that you will find doing this, I think. I think I'm right at that level. I'm barely even a Giants fan, man. They've driven me to the edge. But no, I'm going to give each team the best player I think for that team. It's never a question of whether I like the team or not. Browns at 16. This could be Jordan Davis. Let's do that. IOL is not a need. It is not a need at all. They probably have the best guards in the league combo with Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio. Now, they don't have much at defensive tackle. DeMarvin Leal is still available. Okay, well, this is about his range probably. Could go even earlier than this. DeMarvin Leal is pretty great. You were waiting for him to take a huge jump this year and kind of didn't. Still good, not amazing. Still probably a first round player. Probably not a top 5 pick. Could still be a top 10 pick. Really good player. Potential wise. Again, you like the traits. You love the traits. You think you can develop him. And he has played edge before. And they could potentially use someone to replace Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney's going to be a free agent, right? Jadeveon Clowney could be gone. Tack McKinley could be gone, and he's not great. So DeMarvin Leal makes sense to me there. And then for the Bengals, I think you're devastated Tyler Linderbaum is not there anymore. You could go right tackle. So we might even take Charles Cross or Trevor Penning here. Both left tackles that we're moving over in this mock draft. You got to protect Joe Burrow. Center's a big need. There just isn't a center worth taking here. There just isn't one. Now, John Michael Schmitz is a center. He's really good. He's really good. I think he's probably going to go higher than 172 in the draft. That'd be my bet. But he's definitely real good. There's not a whole ton of centers to choose from. We're not going to go one here at 17. I think we're going to take a tackle, a true tackle. And it's going to be Trevor Penning. Dominated at UNI. Dominated. Now, it's interesting because he's teammate last year, Spencer Brown at Northern Iowa. And usually what happens is your best tackle will play left tackle, blindside protector of the quarterback. And even as an underclassman, Trevor Penning was playing left tackle while Spencer Brown was playing right tackle. Spencer Brown was a 3rd round pick. Good tackle, good player for the Bills right now. Trevor Penning is better. Really mean player, but he's a fun offensive lineman to watch. Mauler will just destroy you, and he should. It's at Northern Iowa. It's not like he's in the SEC, but I think he'd still be effective. I think he's gonna be a 1st round pick. I think he's gonna be a pretty high 1st round pick, and Cincinnati would be a good fit. Now, can he play right tackle? Might not have to. Jonah Williams could move to guard. Might be more natural fit for him anyway, and then Trevor Penning could start at left tackle. There are options, but you need to upgrade the offensive line. You need to protect Joe Burrow. Penning makes a lot of sense to me there. Then we have the Chiefs at 18. Now, their offensive line's played a lot better this year, especially on the interior. Creed Humphrey's great. Don't know why he dropped in the draft. Trey Smith is great. He dropped because of medical. But 2 amazing rookie interior offensive linemen. Tackle could be upgraded. Lucas Niang isn't great. And Orlando Brown Jr. has had a bit of a rough go of it. I still think he's pretty good. I think you probably don't take tackle here. I think you probably don't. We need to get some type of pass rush. I know safety's been awful with Daniel Sorensen playing as much as he has. David Ajabo's there. We're going to take David Ajabo. Too big of an athlete. Too great of an athlete, I should say. I think he makes a lot of sense here. I think he's going to be a 1st round pick. Could go even higher than this. And Kansas City needs pass rush. And yeah, it's another Michigan guy. Need Frank Clark connection. Not exactly if there's any crossover there from playing years, but Ajabo is really good. And the Chiefs really need to upgrade their defense, especially pass rush. So you can actually get Chris Jones playing interior defensive line again, where he belongs. Panthers at 19. It's going to be Charles Cross all day. Could be a quarterback, actually. Could be a quarterback. Could be a QB. Now I'm going to go Charles Cross. I want to upgrade that offensive line. Quarterback is a problem. Sam Darnold's really bad. I know I've been saying that for a while now. And I didn't think he would be good coming out of USC. But I think that's generally agreed on now. Listen, I was fighting. And it really hurts to say, no, this guy sucks. This guy's awful. This guy's not going to be a good NFL player. And sometimes I'm wrong, for sure. Admit when I'm wrong. But Sam Darnold, man, there's so many believers for so long, and he's just so bad. And I think people know he's bad now. So I should take a quarterback. But I'm not going to. I'm going to take a tackle. Chargers at 20. This is going to be Jordan Davis. Might have gone to the Browns there at 16. We got Lee Allen instead. Really good player. The only problem with Jordan Davis, and this is kind of a big one, he doesn't play that much. He's averaging I think 22 snaps a game right now for Georgia it was, and he played, I think it was 30, 32, 33 last year on average for Georgia. So he's more effective, more productive in limited snaps because he's a big guy, 6'6", 330, and is not 26, by the way. There's another Jordan Davis that played at Georgia that was a tight end. This Jordan Davis is 22, so he's not 26. He's 21 or 22. So don't be crazy, because I saw that in the comments when people searched him and they saw 26 years old, like the tight end that played there. No, Wikipedia or Google or whatever has it wrong. He's 21 or 22, but he only plays a limited number of snaps per game. So how much do you value a player like that is a nose tackle? But the thing is for the Chargers, and they could go edge here as well. The thing is for the Chargers is their run D is so bad. We really need to try and do something to make it better. Jordan Davis certainly will improve it. He's a mountain of a man. He is a mountain. Saints at 21. It's got to be receiver. Now, I've gone Chris Olave a lot. And man, I have these receivers falling. It's a good receiver class too. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. I think he's receiver 1. I've gone Chris Olave a lot. I have. Garrett Wilson is a different type of receiver than Olave. I think Garrett Wilson has receiver 1 potential. I think Chris Olave is a better, like, complementary piece. Really great deep threat. Like him a lot as a player. I think Garrett Wilson's a little bit better. And Saints love their Ohio State players a ton. And we're going to go with a different one this time because I've gone Olave in like the last 2, which I still think is a great fit. And then we have the Patriots at 22. It's a corner or a receiver. I'm totally on board with that because no more Stephon Gilmore. JC Jackson could leave in free agency. And then what do you have at that position? Sauce Gardner would make a lot of sense, but they're just great receivers on the board. You know, I could be super happy with like any of these guys. Drake London's played really, really well before injury. Jahan Dotson's a great deep threat. Traylon Burks is a great kind of big-bodied truck of a receiver. Olave is a good technician and deep threat. George Pickens could be receiver 1 in the entire draft class if he was healthy. John Mechie is a great player in general. Good route runner. Just, again, someone that does everything pretty well. David Bell is great at Purdue. Listen, it's a really talented receiver class. Jameson Williams, I'll work my way down the board. Maybe the best deep threat in the entire class. Probably is going to be right in contention for running the fastest 40 of any receiver in the draft. But I think we have to go corner. And I think I'm going to go Roger McCreary here. The Patriots are notorious for running man coverage and needing their corners to play man. And Roger McCreary is one of the best man corners in the class. I like him a lot as a player, and he just feels like a Patriot. Really, really good. He's played awesome this year. He's impressed me more than any other corner in college football this year, for sure. Has made a lot of money. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. Steelers at 23. Man, I want to go offensive line here, but I'm not really feeling Nicholas Petit-Frere. I think we got to go quarterback. And why not go with the guy in the thumbnail to the team in the thumbnail, Kenny Pickett to the Steelers. Listen, Pitt player, staying in Pitt. He's going to play at his home field. The Pitt Panthers play at Heinz. It's just too great of a storyline, and he's really solid. Does everything really well. Completely in sync as a passer. It's nice when the feet match the shoulders, matches the eyes. Everything's just in rhythm. Really accurate. Kenny 2 gloves. He's like it to me. He is an upgraded Teddy Bridgewater, which is a good thing because he's even more accurate, which I guess isn't too hard to do. I think he's a really good player. I think he's going to sneak into the first round. Like him a lot. I think teams might be skeptical of his ceiling just because he doesn't have the strongest arm and he isn't the greatest athlete. But if anything from Mac Jones playing this year can teach you anything, Mac Jones has been great, and he doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. It isn't the best athlete. So Kenny Pickett might go even earlier than this. Bucks at 24. Now, wide receiver is a big issue because Chris Godwin could leave. Antonio Brown, who knows what's going on there? I might just go Chris Olave. Make it real simple. Make it real simple. They could go a lot of different directions. I've given him corner a lot in the past just because, it's been such a problem for them this year, but injury has been huge. So you expect those guys to be back and healthy. Maybe take a corner in round 2, but let's take a big playmaker in round 1 because you could lose Chris Godwin, Rod Christopher Godwin Jr. Replace him with another Chris, right? And Chris Olave. Like that pairing with Mike Evans a lot as well. Raiders at 25. It's got to be O-line for me. It's got to be O-line. It's just been such a problem. Now, they have a left tackle. It's tough. Do you really... Kennard, to me, is kind of like Alex Leatherwood, where he plays right tackle, plays tackle, could move inside to guard, and you have Alex Leatherwood currently playing right guard. I think Nicholas Petit-Frere might be just the best player for the Raiders here. I'd love to go with a center. Just not really any available. So Petit-Frere playing left tackle, doing so at a high level. Really good player, but can play right tackle as well. We know that. So we're going to go ahead and have him go at 25. Ravens at 26. Where do we go here for Baltimore? Now, edge could be good because, Calais Campbell is real old, first of all, even if he's not really a true edge. That's maybe why IDL's in there as a need as well. Odafe Owe has played so well, but you need more than one edge rusher, clearly. So we could go edge here. Corner could be a need. Jimmy Smith, I believe, is expiring. He's not expiring as a person. He's not going to die, but he has an expiring contract. Sauce Gardner's there. Feels like a good time to pull the trigger on him. Then we have the Lions at 27. This could be a quarterback. I mean, again, like Howell is here. Ritter's here. Carson Strong is a great passer, but is a statue in the pocket. Could have Sam Howell at 27 and really not feel too bad about it. You just can't watch Jared Goff and believe in him. You can't. I'm going to go quarterback for that exact reason. Let's go with Desmond Ritter. He's a solid player. He's another guy that just kind of does everything pretty well. Big body, pretty athletic. Is not the most accurate quarterback in the world. Now, don't point to completion percentage or passer rating or QB rating or whatever. Watch him play. His precision passing could use some work. But overall, there's a lot to like with him as a prospect. I think he could be a first-round guy, back end of the first round. I don't think he goes much higher than that. I don't think he escapes the second round, though. So you got to like that if you're Detroit. At least some competition at quarterback, because Jared Goff, man, the goofball's not it. Cowboys at 28. Now, I do like their positions in need here. I think you could throw in maybe tackle as well, just because injuries have been such a big concern. I don't love the tackles for them. I don't even love the guards. I mean, Kennard's good. Kennard can be a fit here. What do we have at edge? People have been wanting me to take Myjai Sanders first round. I just don't. When I watch him play, I see a guy with long arms he's pretty good. I don't really see a game wrecker. And I think a guy like Drake Jackson has more potential, which is why maybe I would favor him. I think they're different scheme players, though. I think Sanders is a 4-3 guy, whereas I would like Drake Jackson in a 3-4. JJ Enagbare, I think is great too. Arnold Ebiketie is probably going to be maybe a second or third round pick. Nick Bonito could go second round. Logan Hall could sneak into the first for sure, just like Peyton Turner did last year. Another Houston edge. I love Brenton Cox as a player. I love Jermaine Johnson. Isaiah Foskey is real good. They're a bunch of really talented edge players, but we've barely seen any safeties go off the board. I feel like I've given him Daxon Hall before, but man, is he a good player. And I feel like he'd be a really good fit for the Cowboys. Buffalo at 29. I think this is where we see the first running back go. And I do like it to be Kenneth Walker. Just really, really good. He's playing his way into a potential Heisman in 2021. Buffalo is a really solid team. Their defense is amazing. They don't really have that X Factor running back. And I'm not sure that Kenneth Walker is like an X Factor game changer. Has been at Michigan State. No question. No question. Oh my goodness. Look at the last picks here, by the way. We have back-to-back Big Ten Ohio State players, back-to-back American Cincinnati players, and back-to-back Big Ten again. I don't know, maybe that's not that weird. It's not that weird. But yeah, Kenneth Walker's real good. Real good. Forces missed tackles at a crazy rate. There's a lot to like, and I think the Bills are really missing that true RB1. I like Devin Singletary. I like Matt Breida. I think Zach Moss is fine. I think Kenneth Walker could be an upgrade on all of them long term. So that's my logic and reasoning behind that. Packers at 30. Man, they're in a weird spot. A lot of free agent wide receivers. Edge could be a real problem. But I like Rashawn Gary. Zadarius Smith is getting older. Preston Smith was a miss in free agency. I don't know that it's their biggest need. I would probably think linebackers ahead of that. They just never take receiver, but I think this is the time to take receiver. And they could use a real deep threat. Yeah, I'm going to go Jameson Williams, man. I think he is upgraded Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's great. He is so fun to watch at Alabama. I think he's played his way into the first round. It's a really good receiver class. I feel really bad leaving Treylon Burks out of the first round if I do that. I feel really bad leaving Drake London out. Jahan Dotson, same deal. London can fall because of injury, But it's tough to get all these good players in, man. It really is. Titans at 31. This will be a linebacker. This will be a linebacker for me. And I like Devin Lloyd. I like Brandon Smith quite a lot too. Just athletic upside is crazy. Let me go Devin Lloyd. I think he's got to be a first rounder. And then Arizona at 32. Edge is tough because Chandler Jones has an expiring contract and JJ Watt, who knows what his future is. Corners is tough because they don't just have great corners on roster. Like Marco Wilson is starting for them. I know I keep bringing that up. I just don't think he's crazy good, but also I don't know if I love these available corners. Byron Murphy is good for sure, by the way. I'm not forgetting about Byron Murphy. I think he's more of a slot corner. Now, it would be a lot of fun to team him up with another UW player and Trent McDuffie. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it for the storyline, but also it just fits, man. It just fits. So that is my mock draft. I'm sure you're going to disagree. I think it turned out pretty well. Obviously, some players fell out of the first round that in my head feel like first round players, but I like it overall. So let me know what you think down in the comments section below. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Insane, I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah, promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, yeah. Papa turn, taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.